memories of a great concern for the earth. When I was 3, I used shampoo and conditioner bottles to save tap water for my family to prepare for an upcoming drought. All I knew was that there was something wrong with the environment. I was confused and concerned without having any real details, so I acted in a way that wasn't particularly useful. My grandmother's home village in Italy, which I visit every summer, I've noticed the snow-capped mountains appear less and less visible with each return. The disappearance has been obvious and quick. Again, I have felt confusion and concern. Unlike when I was younger, this concern is much more tangible and pressing. On my family's annual hike in the Alps, we used to pass a gushing waterfall that I remember seeing since I was a kid. But with every year, the waterfall diminished until it was only a trickle. Last year, it was just moss. What is happening to our planet? At 14, I am still confused and concerned, as are most of us, but now I have some thoughts on how to act. It is important to address our confusion and concern by bringing people together to decide as a community what steps we take towards a solution. I've found art to be my calling, and my parents have taught me to use my practice as a means of engaging and building community. How does science fit in? From 2014 to 2015, I was part of a community theater performance called Pester Power that showed how kids can pester their parents into thinking about and acting on issues of climate change and racial justice. In both cases, even adults are confused and on how to take action in this unclear for many of us. Kids have the power of leverage and challenge their parents to take time and think about these things. Pester Power involved audience participation, which made people uncomfortable. This discomfort called out the fact that many of us don't think about big issues and little things that we can do. I think making people uncomfortable, in part, is the role of the artist in generating social change. Pester Power reached a large and diverse crowd. Last month, I was in New Orleans when a complete stranger recognized me from this small local play. Art can spread a message far and wide. Performance art can challenge communities to reconsider their day-to-day lives. A lot of my friends my age don't think about the connection between climate justice and social justice, and neither do their parents. Both Mother Nature and Mother Justice are ill, and this deeply affects each and every one of us. What I want to suggest today for the Champaign-Urbana March for Science is that everything boils down to community, something that has been neglected. Before people do anything together, they first need to know each other, to care about each other. When you are in your own enclosed space, you cannot hear the other people's voices. Big changes happen first on a small scale, through community, slowly, where members are responsive to each other. We need to start a tiny revolution on this small scale, a love ethic, a caring community, this sort of scale. Art lets us engage both the hearts and minds of the community. There is a connection between art and science. Art is the science of looking at society and understanding human interactions. It is about asking questions. Art meets science, and science meets art in this questioning activity. My question is, how can we meet one another in ways that creates community? Today, we must make necessary changes. We need to give significance to the small, to the tiny, to the everyday interactions that build Champaign-Urbana. What would it be to make the simplest change today? I figure things out when I make art. I learn about myself and how I relate to the world. We are told that art is on the side, on the periphery, even opposite to the core issues, but it is not. Rather, art is at the center, not in opposition, but together with science. When you are fascinated by something, you are engaged. You grow, you learn, and it sticks. You don't forget it. Science and art, at their best, do this. They teach, they create community. Community that grows and thrives, and both start with the audience getting a little uncomfortable, having their viewpoints and opinions challenged. Scientists, talk to your community, talk to artists, find out how to get your message out and educate as many people as possible with an accessible, creative, and memorable method. Artists, talk to scientists. The studio isn't so different from the lab. A funny image that comes to mind is how one would paint community on a petri dish. How do we cultivate culture? Where culture has been taken, interrupted. We know what we want. We just don't know how to do it. Let us together question, imagine, and create. Only in working together toward clarity, we can start to make change. Thank you. I want to thank Danielle, Ian, and Lisa.